Why did this review take so long to make? Well, let's start with the fact that the characters Fanboy and Chum are annoying, obnoxious, and cause migraines. Which is fitting because the show has similar problems. Despite the show being more annoying and obnoxious than Bubsy could ever hope to be, and never should have made it past the pilot, I've actually debated reviewing it. The most important reason is that they aren't making new episodes. I mean, Nickelodeon is still airing episodes, presumably only because it's a CGI show, and for no other reason, but it's one of those shows that's only running through repeats, which thankfully means it's clear that it won't last for much longer. The other reason is that people actually like this show. They have asked me not to review it, and I have to ask, why? Why do you people like it? Look, nothing is without its fans. People comment all the time telling me that they like whatever atrocity that I've reviewed. Take Johnny Test. For some it's so bad it's good, and for others they like the resemblance to Dexter's Lab. But here, I don't get it. At all. The entire show is built around two of the most annoying characters ever constructed. Take Season 6 SpongeBob and Patrick, throw in an extra bucket of stupid, and the animalistic nature of a monkey, and the Frankenstein's monster you created is about 5 times more tolerable than Chum Chum. The more tolerable of these two. Fanboy even kinda looks like a monkey. And yes, I am getting their names right this time, thank you very much. That's what it all comes down to. If you can't make good characters, then no matter what plot you throw them into, it will inevitably be a disaster. Most of the worst cartoons of all time have failed on that principle alone. I am thoroughly convinced that the only reason that this show survived past its pilot is because Nickelodeon is filled with idiots and hacks! For me to show you in depth why this series fails is to take you through an episode. A prime example would be the episode Cold War. I'm warning you right now that the last Cold War was much more enjoyable than this piece of shit. At least the result of that was getting into space. There is no bright side here. Alright, I'm ready. Bring it on! Oh good, obnoxious sound effects over the title card. That never wears thin. If the Breadwinners episode has the same problem, I'm going to break something. So, the episode starts with rain, some kids go inside, and... Hey, remember when kids shows had actual pacing? You know, where they took the time to set up the catalyst to the plot? Seemed like such a long time ago. Yeah, one of the biggest problems with the series is the pacing. There is none. Every plot is erratic and moves in seemingly random directions. So, essentially, this show is what the people who hate Adventure Time think that Adventure Time is. Obnoxious characters and random bullshit. So, since the idiots were idiots, they got sick.
Look at the bright side. We may have colds, but at least we get to spend the day at home together, best hello mine.
I'm actually surprised that that's not all they do. I'm also surprised that they've got jobs. No, I don't know what drugs the people were on to hire them. Let's think about this and why I have a problem with this. SpongeBob, even though he couldn't function in actual society, was hired at the Krusty Krab because he was an amazing fry cook. Mordecai and Rigby, although they're kinda lazy, were probably hired because it was a minimum wage job that didn't require too much effort. If you worked at a convenience store, would you hire obnoxious kids that dressed in costumes and wore their underwear on the outside? Oh, and for the record, I've never seen them do anything with the whole superhero concept. Because, you know, that might have actually been bearable.
Now we're no work and all play.
Is that really different than how they act in any other episode? But let's focus on this episode. I'm reviewing this particular episode. This episode on its own and why it's an atrocity of its own right. Fanboy and Chum Chum do all their activities and get bored really quickly. So they decide to watch TV. Unfortunately, the batteries in their death ray laser are dead. That's seriously supposed to be a TV remote. Looks like the control for an RC car. So anyway, one of them are going to have to get up and change the channel on the television. But apparently they're too lazy to do this. And that slowly turns them against each other. This is supposedly out of character. But beyond being obnoxious as all hell, Fanboy and Chum Chum don't really have any character. Let's go back to SpongeBob. He has a specific job with his own specific skill level, his own specific hobby, and his own specific talents. He is, or was, a fully realized character. Since Fanboy and Chum Chum are pretty much the same character, what's their favorite hobby? Annoying people! Whatever they do, it always comes down to annoying people. What are they talented at? Annoying people! What do they do at their job? Annoy people. Could this work as a show? Yes, if the show is constantly about abusing them, instead of vice versa. Do you think that either of these guys ever get comeuppance for being the devil's anus? Nope, even when the show turns them against each other. So they turn on each other and start sneezing at each other.
If I'd have done it on purpose, I would have done this.
Thanks for that. I thought they were sick. You know, sneezing, headache, low energy. I mean, they were kinda sick just a second ago. All of a sudden, there's a ring at the door. This is Kyle. He's Squidward, but a wizard. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He's Squidward except a wizard. And yes, I would say that he was the coolest part of the show, and the only reason to watch it if the writers didn't use him as an excuse to throw out any and all logic.
I got caught outside in the rain, which as you know is like acid to wizards.
So the best solution is to not seek immediate shelter and climb up a water tower towards the sky. Oh, and not be paranoid about the weather at all times. But seriously, you climbed up a water tower to seek shelter. No wait, you climbed up a water tower in acid rain to get out of the rain. That was really the easiest possible shelter you could find. And immediately, I know what you're thinking. This looks like a shitty rehash of Pineapple Fever. Don't worry, it's not. Instead, it's a shitty rehash of Naughty Nautical Neighbors. I always wondered what it would be like if they wrote it in Season 5 or Season 6. Fanboy and Chum Chum immediately begin fighting over Kyle, who I'm still annoyed is here at all. But yes, just like in Pineapple Fever, the episode would have been fine without Squidward. I mean Kyle. What the fuck does it matter? They're the same fucking character. You might as well call him Megward the Wizard. Why is this character type so fucking common? I know why. Because it's a mark of laziness. Actually, yeah. If there's a character that solely exists to be abused, it's not only a mark of laziness for me, but it is now an admission of laziness. If you put that kind of character in your show, you are admitting that you don't have the talent, effort, or wit to create a worthwhile character. Because this problem is even dipping into good shows too. And no one ever found it funny or compelling.
Right, this is a momentous decision. Who shall gain the privilege of being my best friend and playing with me? Are these the only choices?
No, you got one more. I hope you enjoyed that little image because for the rest of the episode, Fanboy and Chum Chum are in completely perfect health. Yeah, this episode got rid of their poorly established plot faster than shuffleboarding. But this time, there's pretty much no transition whatsoever. Since they're still in school, have Megward the Wizard take their homework to them. That's usually the standard option. And oh yeah, keep those two sick.
So, what do you want to do first? You want to play Dead On? Charlie Horse? Ices, Oopsies?
Perhaps a board game.
It's funny because Fanboy had no obsession with pain-oriented games at any point in this episode, or as far as I can tell in any other episode either. And now you figured out the main problem with this series as a whole. They don't care two shits about continuity. Not just between episodes, but within episodes as well. They also throw in random plot points with no thought of concept or transition that are dropped as quickly as they're brought up. I've read Mad Libs with more coherence than episodes of Fanboy and Chum Chum. It's not only laziness, but it's another admission of laziness. The writers cannot be bothered to follow a plot. In the meantime, we've got...
Okay then, how about Chinese checkers? Then again, that may get a bit high-spirited, what with the spice of the Orient.
Jokes that don't make sense. That sounded racist. I'm not sure, but I think that was racist. Yeah, I'm calling it racist. Then Kyle proves how terrible of a friend he is. In a well-constructed plot, this would help the two friends realize how much they value each other's friendships. In this episode, I think that that's what they were going for, but it just ends up being two other plot points thrown into the air. Also, in the meantime, Fanboy is a pretty terrible friend too. Great. He's obnoxious and detached from reality with no sense of empathy. Thank you for reinforcing his one character trait. Now it's Chum Chum's chance. Guess what? He's obnoxious and detached from reality with no sense of empathy. Thank you for reinforcing his one character trait. So yeah, they're pretty much the same fucking character. So why did I say that Chum Chum was the less annoying of the two? Because he has less of that one character trait. In fact, I almost think that he's misguided by Fanboy, who teaches him to be as obnoxious as him, which is pushing all of his would-be friends away from him and ruining his future. But who am I really kidding? That would require a coherent plot.
I call shenanigans!
Shenanigans! Gentlemen, shenanigans has been called. Send in the clones!
Which they are clearly unable to create. So yeah, Kyle essentially said that they were cheating, and so Fanboy and Chum Chum send out a bunch of miniature versions of themselves that they call clones. Are they robots? I don't know. Do they need to eat despite being kept in boxes? I don't know. Do they ever make another appearance? Not that I'm aware of. They're just there because, you know that saying, throw shit at the wall and see what sticks? Yeah, this show is where they put all the stuff that doesn't stick. Look, this isn't some cartoon from the 20s. You need to follow a set of rules. And you know what the great thing about animation is? Those rules can be whatever you want them to be. You can have a dog with the ability to morph, or a land where flying horses control the weather, but you need to follow the rules that you've created. I can only come to the conclusion that the writers have just flat out given up. At this point, they're telling me that they just don't give a shit anymore. Then again, they never did.
Hey, I'm not sick.
Wait, you were sick? When?
Promise whatever got us mad at each other in the first place ever again.
Wanna go play out in the rain?
You read my mind, best friend.
Oh good, a bookend! They make great bludgeoning weapons, I hear. Time to find out. I'll see you guys next time.